Truly bound to talk, y'all. God is faithful, you heard? Don't you ever rush in life. Faithfully see who is called you. 1,000 years he said they forgot. You would never end in shame. Ever rush in life, faithfully see who has called you. 30 years since I did forgot. Don't rush, you will never end in shame. Slow down. Some say God is slow to his promises. Some say God takes too long to fulfill his word. Now that no faithfully see who is called, yeah. He makes all things beautiful in his time. In his time. He makes all things beautiful in his time. In his time. He makes all things beautiful in his time. Ever rush in life, ever rush in life. Faithfully see who has called you. 30 years since I did forgot. Oh yeah. You will never end in shame. You will never end in shame. Don't you ever rush in life, ever rush in life. Faithfully see who has called you. Since I did forgot, you will never end in shame. Slow down. Men pro I want rubber you more. Hano kafo, hano na wafrawo. If ya pim, yani dakunti. On my one new, him I say, young children say.
So many things they happen for this world. The other day somebody say God no day. Another day another person say you be like say God you blind. You know they see what they happen. That's all they want. If these people know who they talk about, they go close their mouth. But this my God, know they lie, you know they sleep, you know they slumber. I do one day for you, Baba. It's okay, everything is gonna be okay. It's alright, everything is gonna be alright. It's okay, everything is gonna be okay. It's alright, everything is gonna be alright.
Don't you ever rush in life.
Don't you ever rush in life.
Faithfully see who has called you.
He's faithful, he's faithful.
30 years since I did forgot. You will never end in shame.
You'll never end in shame.
All right. Guess what time it is? This is I Talk with Pastor Kwame on FB, and I am super excited to connect with you. It's Friday, so we have to learn together. We have to inspire one another. All right, so a lot of exciting things are in the pipeline. So let me first say thank you to my producers and all of you that are going to be joining in today. I want to thank you in advance for coming on board and learning together with me. All right, so there's going to be a new addition to their I Talk kind of program. What is going to happen is that there are some few friends that are coming around. I call them the classmates. Their job is to just come on board, listen to the class, and then interact with me during the Q&A session. But basically, everybody watching is automatically in the class. But these are people that I call them when I'm coming on. I say, hey, let's go to class. And so if this was a physical show, they will be sitting right in front of me as I talk to them, because most of my content is lessons and workshops and training material, which will be a blessing to you. So today we have an hour to enjoy ourselves. Now, I want to officially welcome you to I Talk today. And I want you to share the show with me, and let's reach as many people as possible. Share the show, like the show, and if you are a classmate, put your name. I see Kweku already making noise over there. That's my boy. This guy is just phenomenal. He just supports everything I do. So Kweku, big up to you. Thank you so much for coming in class. And so I'll be expecting you to what you call it. I'll be expecting you to get your questions ready. What is my producer saying? This dance is just you and your somebody talking about a dance. Don't worry. So what happened was, before I met Jesus, I was a dancing competition champion, right? And so I got so born again, and all of that left me. But God says, I'll give you back. So yes, I used to dance a lot, very much. I was a winner at the age of, I think, six. At the age of 7, 8, I was dancing competition winner. I had a lot of stuff going on for me, right? Cool. All right. So I'm still waiting for some of my classmates to come in. I mean, the class to come in. Yes. So I have two of my the classmates. Where is everybody? Please, when you come in, just holler and say I'm in class, and then we can proceed. Where are my classmates? I'm waiting for the class to join in now. Class, come on in. Exciting. All right. So that is exciting news. And also, one other thing that we're going to do, which you will see as a nice surprise today when we get there, I'll announce it. So let me give you a little bit of where we are going today. Today we will seek to tackle the 4 things you need to achieve emotional intimacy. And sometimes my class come across as something very technical, but I want you to pay attention and stay with me, because we are going to kind of get to the bottom of some critical things that I believe is essential for your well-being. And today is going to be an eye-opening experience. Let me tell you the purpose of this show. The purpose of this show and everything on TBN is not to get fame. It's not to be also a network that is doing big things. The purpose is to reduce the human pain by a little bit. The purpose is to bring help to somebody, right? That is why we do what we do. And so if it has no purpose, we wouldn't do it. So I want you to know that there is something helpful that God has placed on our heart to help you receive it. So this is not a show. This is a healing time. This is a therapeutic time. So I want you to know that if you pay attention and you hook up and you stay on this show, you will learn something. It's going to be worth your time. I refuse to bring something that is just talk. I always want to bring something that's substantial. So this emotional intimacy subject is critical and is essential that you begin to become part of it as we discuss it. All right. So let me give you the big picture. We are going to talk about the definition of emotional intimacy, and then we're going to talk about the 3 reasons why it is important, and then when we go to class, we talk about the 4 things you need to achieve it. You got the game plan. We're going to talk about the clear definition of emotional intimacy, and we're going to talk about the 3 reasons why you need to have it, and then the 4 things you need if you're going to have it. Does it make sense? So that's the game plan. So please share, tell a friend to tell a friend that we are on. All right. So when we get to the Q&A session, I'll be expecting questions from the class, and also I'll be expecting questions from just the audience. So if you come through and you hear something, I want you to answer. I want you to ask a question, because you are the reason why I do this show. All right. Let me share the link to other friends, and then we are going to kickstart our show. I am excited. I hope you are also excited. I hope you are excited, because I am excited. All right. Now, when we talk about emotional intimacy, it is really critical. So what we are going to do now is, if we're ready and we're excited, let me see if there's any student, so that I can just give a shout out to quickly. Let me see if anybody is also on, and then I will give a shout out to that person as well. So who else do I have? All right. So Ray is in the house. All right, Ray, welcome to class. Thank you. Amma is in the house. Oh my God, the whole class is here. Excellent. All right, guys, stay with me and let's have fun together. Get your pen and paper. This is for those who are ready to learn. So please get your pen and paper and write things down. Let me tell you something, class. So any student that comes to class all the time and answer questions, you know me, I'm going to hook you up. All right. So I will take attendance and hook you up when you come to class all the time. All right. So if you're ready, let's get going. I'm super excited. So first thing first, we are going to go to a special place called the white room. In the white room, our task is, we are going to define emotional intimacy. What is emotional intimacy? So let's run to the white room, and when we come back, I will deal with the second part of our show, which is, why do I need it? All right, so let's go to the white room as I try to define emotional intimacy. I'll be right back. Hello, yes, welcome to the white room. Let's try and get the definition of emotional intimacy. For a better definition of emotional intimacy, we're going to look at 5 statements that really paint a good picture of what emotional intimacy looks like. Let's start with statement number 1. Emotional intimacy is a human necessity cultivated in a healthy relationship. A person is experiencing emotional intimacy when they can freely and easily express their truest, innermost desires, thoughts, and ideas and feelings without thinking twice. Emotional intimacy is a space conducive for pure vulnerability at zero risk. Pure vulnerability at zero risk. Emotional intimacy is a space of emotional nakedness without shame. Let's recap. Emotional intimacy makes you feel fully alive, feel very comfortable when you are vulnerable, feels very confident when you are sharing your secret, feels very safe when you are exposing your emotional nakedness. And when that space is available in the relationship, we say the relationship is experiencing emotional intimacy. All right, welcome back to I Talk with Pastor Kwame. We figure out a little bit about what emotional intimacy is. All right, now I'm going to talk about the 3 reasons it is a human necessity. All right, the first one is emotional intimacy is the highest form of emotional wellness. Emotional intimacy is the highest form of emotional wellness. What do I mean by that? Emotional wellness is like any kind of wellness. Physical wellness is achieved through a natural cycle, the way God made it. When you take in food, you digest the nutrients, and then the bad part come out. So when that cycle stops, unfortunately, say you have constipation, that means that the cycle is not flowing, and that means that the next thing is going to be sickness, right? The emotional life of a person is the same thing. Life goes in, and then the pain comes out. Life goes in, and all the other things comes out. So when we consider emotional intimacy a space, a place where you can be really yourself without fearing anything, where there is zero judgment, 100% acceptance, so you can really tell all the things that is going on in your heart. You understand? So if you don't have that kind of thing anywhere in your life, then you are not experiencing emotional intimacy, and that means you are not well. And I made a statement that anytime you're emotionally constipated, your character will stink. Anytime emotional constipation means that a lot of things are overwhelming you, a lot of things are eating you up, but you don't have a place to release it because of 1 or 2 reasons. Either we will get there, either the person you are with, or the relationship that you are in is not conducive to really share yourself. There are 2 ways to get sick. It's what you eat and what eats you. Do you understand? So if something eating you but you can't share, because you are afraid you'll be judged, you are afraid you'll be labeled, you are afraid of something, then that thing will be eating you up and emotionally going to get sick. So if you can freely express yourself as a person, that means you're not experiencing emotional intimacy. So a lot of things are eating you, and you don't know who to trust, who to talk to, and it is killing you softly. That is the reason emotional intimacy is needed, and we're going to talk about how to find it. Because people start talking when they are not on the phone. That means that they are emotionally constipated. A lot of things are on their minds. They don't know who to talk to because there's no safe place anywhere. So the first reason emotional intimacy is essential is primarily because if you don't have emotional intimacy, it means there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of questions, there's a lot of insecurity, a lot of secret things that you are hoarding in your life that nobody knows, and it is eating you gradually, and you are not feeling well at all. Class, are you there? So the first reason you need emotional intimacy, a place to be raw, a place to be naked without shame, is because it is the highest form of emotional wellness. All right, number 2, the reason you need emotional intimacy is the gateway to knowing and bonding with a person. The only way you can know a person is when they are emotionally intimate with you. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are married to somebody and for 50 years you guys are not vulnerable with each other, you don't know each other. Because the only way to know a person is when the person can share everything. And I mean everything. So emotional intimacy is the key to knowing a person, and also the key to bonding, because you can't bond with a person you don't know. So if you create a space where the person can really voice out their everything without fear, then emotional intimacy is possible. So point number 2, emotional intimacy is necessary because it is the only gateway to knowing a person and bonding with a person. When there's no emotional intimacy in a relationship, people don't know each other. You can live on the same bed, have sex with somebody, and you have no idea who they are. Because We will get there when we go to the things you need to have it. So point number 2, students, if you are writing, the point number 1 is that emotional intimacy is the highest form of wellness. And then 2, emotional intimacy is the gateway to knowing a person. And now you say, let me just tease you a little bit, because sometimes you want to know somebody, but you don't have what it takes to know the person. You say, tell me what's on your mind, but they know that when they tell you what's on their mind, you can't handle it. Let me give you something. I will come back to it. Let me not go there because we have time. We're going to enjoy it gradually. Let me not speed up. All right. So let's do the third one, and then we will take a break. And on the other side of the break, we are going to talk about the 4 things you need to achieve emotional intimacy. If it's helping you, just type in "it's helping me." When I go there, I will check it out. Lastly, emotional intimacy is the key to emotional strength. Long time ago in one of my shows, I talk about the need for emotional strength. Emotional intimacy is the key to emotional strength. So when you are intimate with somebody, it means you have been able to release all of the things, the worries, and all of the weight on yourself. You have a place you can release it to, right? And mostly when you release your pain, when you release your head like that, you release it to you release it to a loving ear that can hear you and not judge you, not criticize you, not condemn you. So if you can release yourself like that emotionally, you can always release yourself emotionally. Because for some of you ladies, the only way you release is by crying, which I said it was good, but it's crying just release it temporary. But when you have somebody you are emotionally intimate with, then they hear you at that level. To be heard is to be loved. To be heard is to be loved. All right. So the third reason emotional intimacy is critical is because when you have it, you are strong. When you have a place where somebody can hear your heart, you are strong. All right. So these are the 3 reasons. Let me recap. Reason number 1, it is the highest form of emotional wellness. Reason number 2, it is a gateway to knowing a person and bonding with a person. Reason number 3, it is a source of emotional strength. If you don't have emotional intimacy, I can tell you, when life hits you, you are not coming back up. Everybody who commits suicide ran out of emotional energy. All right, so these are the 3. And so I'm sure you have questions already. These are the 3. So we're going to go to the break. And then when we come back, we go to a class where we are going to talk about the 4 things you need. Maybe we'll just take time and deal with them one after the 4 things you need to achieve emotional intimacy. We'll be right back. This is your boy, Pastor Kwame. This is FBN, and you are watching the show Italk.
Who Jah protect? One loud America.
Oh na 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 na. Let your faith be stronger than your fear.
Hey, in the midst of this fear, I find faith, knowing you well is my strength.
In the midst of this fight, I find strength, knowing you well, He is my strength.
Uja, my God, Uja,
my strength
is in you. It is time, say.
We are the souls, Zion, yeah, to favor you and me, yeah.
Ask me not, oh Janjo Savior, oh.
will rise again. When I fall 7 times, I will rise in your name.
Let the weak proclaim, I am strong. I've been made strong by the hand of Almighty. Through Jah, my God.
My strength in you, yeah. So favor you and me, set time is here.
Oh Lord have mercy, say. Oh Lord, oh Lord. Say,
You rise up and have compassion on Zion.
shall you rise up and have compassion on Zion?
You rise up and have compassion on Zion.
For the set time must come.
Favor Zion now. Set time is here. Set time has come. Set time.
The set time is here.
Set time has come. Set time is here for you and me.
It is time. It is time to favor Zion now. Oh Lord.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Set time is here. Set time has come. To favor you and me, yeah.
Na 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 na. Yeah.
Come on, if you believe, say set time has come, yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So now we're officially in class, and I see a lot of questions in the chat room. And for some reason, where we are now, some of the answers will come out also. But as this will also raise more questions. So officially now, let's check our time. We are going to now class. Wow, we have only 15 minutes. So we are not rushing anywhere. Like I said, the goal of the show is to bring help and healing to people, not even for likes, but to bring healing to people. So whatever we will do for you to hear and be healed is what we are going. So now the 4 things that you need to have so that all of this emotional intimacy can be achieved is why we call the class today. So students, you can pay attention to this. Some of your questions will be answered here. And I feel we can even do 1 per show if that's the case. So these things you have to write down, what I'm going to be telling you. I touched a little bit on it last time, but this time I'm going deeper. So the first thing you can call element, you can call a key, you can call a must-have if you are going to have emotional intimacy. And you can't say you don't want emotional intimacy because you are weak if you're not emotionally intimate. Before we know, you start talking when nobody's talking to you because you are so full of a lot of things that you talk to yourself. And people do that, they sit themselves down, they just talk. But then you catch them, they're talking to themselves, opening their mouth and talking because they don't have emotional intimacy in their life. So number 1 is called mutually accessible. Don't worry about it, just write it down. If you don't understand it, you're going to get it now. Mutually accessible. And here is the definition. Write this down. It means the 2 people in the relationship are 100% open with each other about everything. Mutually accessible means the 2 people in the relationship are 100% open with each other about everything. Now the question is, how do you do that? Because all of you are aware, some of the students are even married. All of you are aware that if you do something like this. If you bring 10 relationships and you say go and be mutually accessible, only 2 will come back alive. You understand? Because telling everything openly like that to everybody like that is not easy. Opening about everything like that. All right. How do you do that? So here's how you do that, and I'll add illustration. 1, you create a zero judgment and 100% acceptance environment. Let me tell you why people don't tell you things. When a teenager is having sex and that teenager's father is a pastor, not even a pastor, if a teenager is having sex, the teenager can tell his or her friend, but the teenager cannot tell the parents. So then the problem is not the teenager hiding things, but the atmosphere. Where the teenager knows that if I say this thing in here, I'm in trouble. So to create a place where somebody can be 100% with you, you have to create a zero judgment and 100% acceptance environment so that whatever happens, they will open up. So to have mutual, you have to be a person that track record has shown that you can actually create zero judgment around you and 100% acceptance. So, Pastor, this is not easy because I'm human and the things they might tell me might break me. Steve Harvey, somebody went to Steve Harvey's show and said, Steve, why do men lie? Steve said, men lie because they know when they tell the truth, the woman will change. When the truth come out of us, the woman will change towards us permanently. So mutually accessibility is only possible when openness is welcome. And I'm telling you, nobody will be mutually accessible to you the second time when you judge them the first time. And I want you to know that we are teaching this class not because it is easy to do, but I want all couples, I want all individuals to understand that if we try to take our relationship this direction, gradually we will get there. Do you know what I'm saying? Because there's a man in a marriage who has kids outside, and for these 15 years, the wife don't know. And this man, every day, he tried to see if the wife can understand because he is guilty, but he doesn't know how to. And he's pushing it gradually, and he won't say it. He will start showing a movie that has somebody cheating, and he will look at the wife's face, and the wife will and say, I'm not saying this thing, I'll die with this thing. So there's no zero and 100% acceptance. So there can be mutual accessibility. You know, so people test the waters before they speak. Nobody is a fool twice. Do you understand? But if you don't have a space like this where you can be 100% naked, then you are not strong. Because when things weigh you down, it takes your energy, it takes your bar. Do you understand? So let's go to the second point. So if I write in, mutually accessible means that the two people are in relationship 100% open honesty with each other about everything. This is a tall order. And how you do that is you create a zero judgment and 100% acceptance environment, right? And then the second thing is that you create zero fear and 100% trust. So when there's zero fear, that means the person is not afraid to share. But sometimes it's not because the person is Marijatao. It's not because the person will even poison you in your sleep. The thing be say the person mouth is very networking. So when you pour out into the person, it goes out somewhere else. There's no trust. You can't trust that what I'm sharing, this vulnerable self I'm sharing with you, can you go and say somebody, I am no. You can't share your secret addictions with people because you don't trust the environment. So when there's trust and there's acceptance, then there's a place for vulnerability. Now, here is really what I'm saying. I want to put a challenge to the class. If there's a couple that are sharing everything, but things are not that easy in the house, and there's a couple that the man has 5 things secret, the wife has 5 secret, and they are not sharing, which of these marriages do you think is strong? If you go to the house where they are not mutually accessible and everybody's hiding 5 things, then with the trust they think they have, it's not real trust. So I'm not trying to say it's easy, because sometimes it's not easy. But I just want you to know this is the right path to emotional wellness, when you can tell everything without fear, because they have created a healthy environment where you know you'll not be judged. Because sometimes the thing about emotional intimacy is that the things you pour out of you, some of them are even not true. But if you, so let me say like this, a lot of relationship, and this class is not for marriage, it's just any healthy relationship. A lot of relationships have gone down because they lack emotional intimacy. Because some ideas you will pick in your head about some actions that a person will do to you, if you don't have emotional intimacy, you'll be offended in a lot of things, but you don't really have emotional intimacy to share it. I said something in my book, The 50 Definitions of Marriage. I said that most of the guys who cheat on their wife, you'll be surprised that the so-called style that the side chick is doing, the wife can do better. But because they don't have emotional intimacy, some things are heavy for them to share together. Up to now, there are some husbands who and their wife are shy about things. They will have sex and all of that, but they can't engage in some things because of whatever reason. And so he's not talking to the wife about those needs. Because I remember my friend said, when, I don't know if I'm to share this anyways, but I've shared enough for you to understand what it is. So if you write these things down, and if you're a student and you want these notes, I can send it to you also. But what we are dealing with today is mutually accessibility, where the two people are in a relationship, are open and honest about everything, right? And if that can happen, it means that there is 0 judgment and 100% acceptance. So when I'm saying I'm not afraid, I can tell you everything, because when there is no emotional intimacy, there's always more pain, because I have done something wrong against you, and I can't tell you, but I want to, but I know I can't tell you because you don't have 100% acceptance for me. You don't have 0 judgment for me, so I can't tell you. So when you find out you think I'm evil, I'm not evil. I'm just scared of you. Not scared of you and afraid, but I don't have emotional intimacy with you. I can't come and tell you my addictions. I'm married to you, but there are some things I can't even tell you. So for let's see the time so that I can break for so for us to come to a place where there is emotional intimacy. Let me check if I have some questions here, because I can interject some questions before even we get to the place of all right. So yes, I want to give a shout out to my pastor. He's also watching. All right, cool. So now, what becomes critical and difficult is, what are some of the things I have to work on so that I can be a person that gives 0 judgment and 100% environment? What are the things I can work on so that I can be trusted? You understand that? But it works both ways. The person who must open up 100% must do their best to overcome certain fear and also open up. And the person who's receiving this honesty must do that. Now, once you see, righteousness is always the highest form of living, because there are some people that they don't want to be emotionally intimate with you because they are playing triple life. They are in a survivor mode. They are trying to survive. So they are in a relationship to make sure that they keep a particular lie. You understand what I'm trying to say? Poverty, hustling, make people intentionally live a fake life with somebody else. This is somebody who has 3 phones, one for this guy, one for that guy. You know what I'm saying? So if they watch a show like this, they wouldn't even know what to do with it, because they intentionally want to hide things from one another. So because that is a survival mechanism. It's lying is how I eat. So how do I come and become 100%? You know what I'm trying to say? So that such a person, they have intentionally decided to create a low life for themselves. But I believe, once again, that the house that is 100% honest with each other, struggling to forgive for pains and hurts, is better than a house where you have 8 secrets that nobody knows, and they go and, oh, have mercy. When you live in a life where there's no emotional intimacy, outsiders laugh at you, because some people know your husband's side chick. So when you post Facebook picture about you and your husband and say, we love each other the most, people start laughing, because they know what you don't know. So emotional intimacy, being open and vulnerable with one another about your weaknesses, about your fears, about your doubts, about your worries, about how you really feel, it is the greatest gift ever, to find somebody you can be emotionally intimate with, where no holds barred, everything is open, because we have, and it is, we will get there. It is not going to be easy to cultivate. It requires maturity. It requires a sense of wellness on your inside to do that. But once you have that, I'm telling you, I'm preaching it, but to live it is another thing else. Are you following? So I'm going to create more time for Q&A. So let's wrap up. I'm going to deal with just one. So I'm going to just read the keys and then we will go. Mutually accessible is the first thing you need to have emotional intimacy, and it's defined as the 2 people in the relationship are 100% open, honest with each other about everything. And if that is going to be possible, 1, you must create a 0 judgment and 100% acceptance environment, and 2, 0 fear and 100% trust environment. If these things are there, then you have the first key to forming emotional intimacy. And I'm saying these keys don't come easy, but the goal of the show is to at least show you that this is the key you need to have, and then you can work gradually towards it, knowing that if we achieve this level of openness, we'll be the strongest people alive. Because I told you that not all blood pressure is because of bad eating. There are some men, their blood pressure is because of emotional constipation. A lot of things they are afraid to share, because they have tried and see that if I share this, I am broken. All right, so I'm open to questions. Thank you, class, for sticking with us. All right, so I'm going to the classroom to see what I have here. All right, so Q&A time. Producer, if you want, you can play my jingle open thing again. The producer give me more time, so you can go over 15 minutes more. All right, cool. So any questions time? Yes. Awesome. All right, Q&A time. So I think that, I'm getting one of the students that can join me, but let me see if I could start answering some of the old questions. The question that Kweku asks is not part of it's not part of the show. He says, "What is your favorite characteristics about yourself?" Um, and what is the soundtrack of your life? So this is private. So we'll talk about that later. But I got one. Said, what if one partner is doing everything for the other to open up, but it's not happening, right? So we told you that the opening happens by creating an environment, right? Most men don't open up to women because of the environment they're in. And I gave you the classic example. A girl who is having sex before marriage will tell the friends but can't tell the parents. So the problem is not they not talking, but the problem is they have calculated the consequence in that environment and they won't talk. So to get somebody to talk, you have to intentionally create a zero judgment atmosphere and 100% acceptance atmosphere. When it is there, they will talk naturally. But that means that you are swallowing a lot of things, because it's not fun for somebody to come and tell you have a child with somebody else. You have to carry 20 people before you can say something like that. But it doesn't have to get there. It has to be something that is gradual. You see what I'm saying? It's gradual. And it doesn't have to be offense alone. But so I'll use this. Let me use this as fine. So my friend wants to have more intimacy with the wife, right? And so, but I don't know if it is true or not. But the funny thing is, I don't know whether women don't want sexual intimacy as much as men, but I also feel that marriage is very stressful, and so sexual intimacy sometimes, after a lot of hard work for the women, that's the last thing on their mind, right? And so the whole idea is, when the man is constantly demanding and asking for it, and the man is a bishop, so the wife said, "Hey, so what can the bishop like this thing too much?" Right? I'm saying. So basically, there is a lot of little comments that you make that will decide whether somebody will be vulnerable to you. So to answer that question, you have to work on being a bigger hearted person. You see, work on being a bigger hearted person so that somebody can tell you their fears, their fantasies. There are some people that are dying with things that have happened to them. They have nowhere to open mouth and talk about it. And those things will eat them up. Let me say this. Once you don't tell nobody, you suppress them. The things you can't tell nobody, you push them down. And the subconscious has a funny way of balancing itself. When you push it, something else pops out. All right, what do I have here? All right. How do you create a zero judgment atmosphere in a family without promoting indiscipline? Okay, that's a good one. Without promoting indiscipline at home. All right. So the idea of zero judgment, 100% acceptance is not an excuse for everybody to do whatever they want, right? So when you are taking us to the next class, when you understand the difference between a human being and a human doing, it becomes easy to do that. So most of the time, when you are correcting a person and the person has not been loved before, you can't correct them. So in a house where genuine love is there, anytime you are disciplining somebody, they know that this person doesn't hate me. So this correction is necessary. Do you see what I'm saying? Because guess what? People don't care what you know till they know you care. And you have not earned the right to even correct somebody if they don't know that you love them. So in a home, there must be the reality of real love. And real love can only be found when a person makes a mistake. A person will conclude how they were treated, or a person will conclude whether there's love in this house, not when they have done right, but when they have done wrong. Do you understand? So it's a great opportunity to demonstrate love to the person when they are most foolish, so that when you are bringing them to the level of discipline, they understand that this people love me, and that is why I should give my best character situation. So it's a great opportunity. That's how God did it. While we were yet sinners, He waited for us to be sinners before He died for us. So discipline is after love. Discipline is after love. You have the right to discipline a person you have not loved yet. And the only time to love, so in my center, the philosophy is that love is the solution to human pain, not correction. Correction is the solution to their next pain. So once they are in pain, so before they get to pain, you have to always show them the standard, the values. But once they fall short, demonstrate that I know the difference between a human being and a human doing. Because a person's self-worth or a person's value does not change based on their behavior. So you cherish, let that cut through. I am deeply hurt, right? But I'll hold your hands whilst I cry, because I want you to understand that what you have done hurts me a lot. I'm not here to play that this is easy. What you have done hurts me a lot, but I'm holding on to it because I understand the difference between a human being and a human doing. What you have done is a human doing, but you are a human being and you I love. It's a complex thing that Jesus did on the cross, right? So what I'm really teaching here is, deep in their heart, they know this person loves me. And we will talk about the fact that sometimes you have to even get help for them because it's a chronic, it's addiction, it's something like that. But the whole idea is, if you can separate the human being from the human doing, then they can experience real love and you can work with them. All right. How do you open up with your partner without being judged? That's a good one. So the whole idea is, you can't really open up if they don't reduce their judgment. So what we want to do is, the first step is communicate to the person, right? That if we become less judgmental with each other, because the human being is such a funny person that when the shoes on the other side, all of a sudden they are preaching grace, but when it's on the other side, they're preaching the law. So once you and the partner understand that the goal is for us to be less judgmental and more accepting, right? Then both of you are aware that that is the expectation in the relationship. And we also are aware that, as for me, I'm naturally judgmental. As for me, I'm naturally cynical, right? But me and you, we have communicated clearly by knowledge, by listening to shows like this, that we have to work on our acceptance. So it can be a one-way street. You cannot have a good relationship with one tire. Both has to work. So unfortunately, one person alone cannot make this work, right? Because if they don't understand that the goal is for me to open up to you and share really my concern, because the reason all relationships are falling apart and all of that is because you can't have a solid relationship if we can't talk about everything. You see what I'm saying? So it's just hanging in there somewhere. But to answer your question, the only way to really, really, really hope that they don't judge you is to let them know that when you judge me, you shut me down. You see what I'm saying? When you judge me, you shut me down. Do you understand? And they'll say, some people say, this thing I can't stop. As for me, like, things annoy me. You see? So when that realization is there, your job is done. I'm not saying it is easy, but know that this is the goalpost we are going. And we might be here in real life, but this is where we'll go. So let's work on it gradually to see if we can get there. I hope that makes sense. All right. Let's see what I have here. All right, cool. So we are almost about to wrap up. So the questions should keep flowing. Let me see on Facebook if there's other questions that are coming through. I hope I'm doing well with the questions. I'm so passionate about the show, the topic, that sometimes I get carried away. But let me see what the Facebook is looking like. But I want to appreciate all the classmates, and I hope you are learning something. And then unfortunately my network is acting up. Yes. So we have a few minutes, so we're going to do more questions. So if the producer will spotlight herself, that'll be amazing also before we go away. But I want to talk about a special topic that is going to be coming through on FBN that I want you to pay attention to. So let me just update all y'all on this amazing topic. Tomorrow, myself and a woman of God on this same channel, all right, as you can see the flyer, is going to be amazing. We're talking about domestic abuse, right? I have powerful material to discuss on this show. I'm telling you, I looked at the material and I was like, what? Let me even tell you something. I'll be talking about the 7 types of people that get abused. It's amazing. So you can't miss it. So it's going to be amazing. It's going to be on 6 p.m. New York time, and I'm not sure what Ghana time is going to be, but probably 10:30 p.m. So this class can join, but it's going to be very, very helpful. All right. Okay. So thank you so much for that. Now, let's see. Let me see. All right, that's not a problem at all. So let me see if I have any questions, and then we will wrap up. But for some reason, my Facebook feed is not coming up, so I could see another question there. All right, let's see if there's any question on my Facebook feed. All right, any question? All right, any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Class, any more questions? Or you guys are okay? Any more questions? Any questions? How do you crazy? Okay, I think I got this one. Any question? Any question? All right. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Before we wrap up. All right. So my students are on. Amazing. All right. So please, I will take 2 more questions and we'll wrap up. 2 more questions. So let me see if there's anything I can add to the whole issue. But please hear my heart. 0 judgment, 100% acceptance. It's a work. Only God is like that. You see, we are all human. We have our own weights to carry. And even if you create a 0 judgment 100%, evil men will take advantage of it and all, right? So all of that is real. But all I'm saying today is opening up very raw to each other is the goal. And there are definitely personal obstacles in each. Some of you, your past pain even doesn't allow you to open up at all. Some of you, you have made up your mind you will never open up again. You see, some of you, what life has taught you, you are saying that I can't risk my life. I can't be this vulnerable anymore. Your heart has changed for good. He says, I went with my heart. Now I'm going with my head. There's some women that are saying that I will never fall deeply in love anymore. I will always play it safe till I die. Some have said, I don't trust people anymore. You see what I'm saying? So that is the reality on the ground. So people like that, they are not in for that deeper level. But I'm just saying that without this also, are we ready to face the opposite, where a relationship look like it is there, but when you expose what is happening, it is not there? Is that the option we want to have, where you have 10 secrets in the wife's head, 10 secrets in the husband's head, and they are all happy, and those who know their secret always laugh at them? So we have to come to a point where you say, I am all you got, you are all I got. Let's try and make this work. And it has to be both of you taking that gradual step. And I'm not here to say it is going to happen in 1 second. It has to be little by little by, like a snake thing, working little by little. You follow? All right. So that is my pitch today. So pick up our show next week as we talk about the second thing that you need. So the first thing that you need is mutually accessible to each other. Any question? Is it advisable to open up on your past to your partner? So definitely, the whole thing comes to, that is what I want to do. Who doesn't want to be in a space where everything about them can be shared? Because I told you, the human health is just like the physical, biological health. Anything that goes in you that is not good to stay in there, it must come out. And emotional intimacy is the cycle that creates that come out. If things are in you that can't come out, it's called emotional constipation. And emotional constipation will make your character stink. So when you have a lot of things in you, I said it, when you push a lot of things in you, what ends up happening is that it balances out by showing up in other areas with certain characteristics that you can't explain. You see what I'm saying? That's how the human system is. When you suppress certain things, it shows up in other places. You see? And so you'll be a very moody person, you'll be a very strange person, and you wouldn't know why. You have some unnecessary addictions that you can't really stop because there was an emotional issue that was not dealt with, that couldn't come out. So you didn't have a safe place to go. In conclusion, that's the reason why the Catholic Church, before all so-called charismatic people came, they realized that if people don't have a place where they can say, Father, I have fornicated. If people don't have a place where they say, Father, I am addicted to pornography. If people don't have a place where they can say, Father, I had just slept with someone's wife. If people don't have a place to go say things like that, people will be eating up on the inside. So the whole confession booth was not a spiritual concept, but it was an emotional healing place. You understand that? And so when we came, we started speaking in tongues, we thought that that's it. Bible said, confess your sins to one another so you'll be healed. So inner healing can only happen when there's emotional intimacy. Do you see the deal? So that is kind of how it happens. So like, I get discouraged even teaching this because sometimes I see how far it is from reality. But at the same time, let's not give up hope. Let us go at it gradually, where we can tell everything, And so I guess the assignment is, blessed is the one who can make a person open up. You make the person, so you host them so well that they can open up, and you train them to be so. Here is my last take. The person you spoke to has an okro mouth, but a very attending person. Like, they can take time and listen to you, but they will take it away, right? Instead of cutting them out, why don't you patch that area? Help them see the need to fix that area, and also area of your life where you don't fit this mutual thing. Maybe yours is just quickly judging people, right? When I became a pastor, it wasn't fun at all because I was a church boy. I didn't do a lot of crazy things in the world. I have never smoked before. I have never been drunk before in my life, and I'm almost 40 something. So I had a very green life. So my life didn't go through the world where I married as a virgin, So that is how church boy I was. So when I became a pastor and people were confessing things, I wasn't doing well. When cases come to me in the church office and I'm dealing with it, because I can't relate. So God had to work on me so that my judgment level will go down. See, so who are you to? You cannot change a person by discipline. I'm telling you, it is a heart matter. You can condition them, but to really change them, you have to love them. It is conditioning when you discipline them, right? So that for them, they say, this I don't do. You see, that's why God doesn't have the number of times to forgive you. God will forgive you till you get tired of sinning. As a child of God, you see what I'm saying? So at some point, you just say, you love me too much. I can't continue to do this anymore. But when it's like, if you do 5, I'll cut you 6, it doesn't go anywhere. Because you don't want somebody who pretend to fit in your life. And that's what happens when there is judgment in the air. They will play the role very nice when they are home. But when they go out, you see that they know how to play according to the environment they are in. But when they go out, they will change all the things. So the whole idea is you want to create a space. So if you want to correct somebody, right? You want to create a space where they can be themselves before you can correct them. But if you make the space very tight, then they will just be quiet. They won't, you see, they won't ask questions. So you don't know what is wrong with them. But if you want to really help them, you have to see their raw state. So that all this, because some of the things in people's head is not true. You came home, you wanted sex, and your husband had lost a deal. So when the husband pushed you away, you concluded that my husband doesn't find me attractive anymore. And that was how you concluded. It's a lie, but it is eating you. But if you open up, I even lost a deal here and there. So that's what I'm trying to say. So some of the things in your head that's eating you, not all of them are true. But if you don't open up, how do we get corrected? So if you create a space where people can open up, you can help them better and more. All right, all too soon, I believe I've come to the end, and I want to thank my class. Extremely good. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me. I hope it was helpful. I hope you are not sad that you came. I hope you've gotten a thing or two so that you will connect with me again. So we are going to pick up on the second one next week, God willing. All right. So, amazing. Thank you all for sticking with me. We have come to the end of our show. This show will be kept right on the same platform, and if you have the link, you can rewatch it and write some notes down. And as you watch, if you have more questions, don't hesitate to send it in. We are treating the 4 things you need to achieve emotional intimacy. We did one today. We're going to pick up on the second one next week. Thank you all so much. Check us out as we talk about domestic abuse tomorrow at 6:30 US New York time and 10. I think Amma said it's 10 p.m. Ghana time. Love you all. God bless you. Let the conversation continue. If you have anything you want to directly chit chat with me, I'm available for a couple of hours before I sleep. Thank you all so much. See you guys next week. This is Italk on FBN, and my name is Pastor Kwame. God bless.
The Bible said